let's get it.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Happy to be here with you for our next Microsoft Global Community Initiative General Session. I am your host, Heather Cook. I'm a Principal PM on the Microsoft Customer Advocacy Team for Microsoft 365. I'm one of the key stakeholders of this initiative, and I'm always happy to be with you for our general sessions. We do two. We do one at 8 a.m. Pacific, and it's, I think, PDT right now, Pacific Daylight Time, and then we'll do another one at 5 p.m. to catch the other part of the world for time zones. So thank you for being here. Please do introduce yourselves, where you're from. If you want to share your LinkedIn, right on, that's great. Happy to have you do that. With all of our events and meetings and webinars and everything we do at Microsoft, we do have a digital event code of conduct. Our mission is to empower every person and organization on the planet to achieve more. We also, we treat each other with respect here and inclusivity. Please, if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand or put it in the chat. You can also come off mute too, but please try not to interrupt our wonderful guest speaker and wait for him, because we will do questions at the end. But anybody, anything odd, I will make sure and take folks out of the meeting, as it were, because we want to have a really safe, wonderful environment here. So thank you for that. Today we're going to have announcements, and then we're going to actually flip the agenda to, we're going to start off with Tim with unconventional ways to promote community events, and then we're going to head into our subcommittee updates. We are going to talk about the community tenant as well a little bit, which we'll have some updates there, and then getting into community events. This is the Global Community Initiative, calling all event producers. We help amplify events, production templates, learning from experts. That's all about what the MGCI is about, is really empowering and helping folks who want to put on events in their local communities. Have you learn from the best, because we have so many great producers on if you're new and starting out, and to help share best practices all around, which Tim is doing today. So super excited about that. So our mission features, like I said, amplification, event production training, blogs, networking, technology, best practices, and playbooks, and more for the Microsoft community. Also, if you would like to join our mailing list, we separated out how to join the MGCI. We have a community hub now on the Microsoft Tech community, and we also have a mailing list to sign up for our newsletter and other things. So we have lots of ways to stay connected. A big congrats to our new MVPs. Welcome to the program. On the first of every month, we welcome new Microsoft Most Valuable Professionals to be MVPs. So all of you new ones, yay, hello, and welcome to the party. And those of you who have been them, and our regional directors and our user group leaders, thank you so much for what you do every day. Really appreciate you, and thank you for being a big part of all the goodness and sharing and help and empathy and goodness that is this community, the best community in tech. So a shout out to all the MGCI board members and regional leaders who are on this call, who help monitor and moderate, and who help just do so many good things. So thank you, everybody, for being on today. And with that, I'm going to give it over to Tim to talk to you about unconventional ways to promote community events. And Tim, I'm here to help with the conversation, and excited to dig into this wonderful presentation that you put together. So, yay, welcome. Please introduce yourself again. Yay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Balk. I am from the south side of the Twin Cities area in Minnesota, Lakeville specifically, but I live up here. There's a large community of, Microsoft technology focused and technology focused individuals up here. So it's a great place to be for me. And I am also a regional lead. And, some of the things I'm trying to do are to try to revive some of the communities that have, died out since COVID happened. So, that's my whole spiel about, what I'm doing for the community so far. And here I'm going to be presenting some, not necessarily things you think of when you promote your events, but we're going to kind of start out with what to start out with, first when you're doing this kind of thought process. A few places to visit that you may not have that you may not have thought of, to do some of that outreach, and then a couple of activities of what you could try to do in those outreach kind of situations. So, where do you want to start? Make sure you have a home site for your community and its events. Definitely create a LinkedIn company page for your community so you can get that social media outreach from within the LinkedIn platform. And also just be sure to have a varied presence on social media platforms in general. So, this can be different things depending on where you're located. Leverage your groups and your people that are within the community locally to reshare, repost, kind of help you communicate when your events and what your community is trying to do, within the area. Use Meetup. It's a great site. I just looked this up as a result from Ben Rupp and Heather Cook suggesting it. It's got a lot of good ways to find these communities inside of your kind of local areas. And it's got some nice slicers in it to kind of see which ones are focused on food or technology and that kind of stuff. The screenshot I have kind of in the corner of the slide is showing the local ones that are near the Twin Cities, near me. So you can really kind of look out there and put those, I guess, feelers out there for who's doing what inside of your city, inside of your whole community. Then when you kind of consider when you're having people sign up for community events, you're going to get a lot from a first impression. So make sure your form, your sign up form, is being kind of considerate about inclusivity, especially when people are coming in for whole day events. They have different food needs perhaps, or different needs in general for quiet areas or something like that, or if they need to have an elevator available if there's if it's going to happen on multiple levels. Kind of think about that and see if you can build that into your forms to try to help people access those community events. It's always a good thing to be good to be good and kind to other people, and then after the fact, have some optional pre-post meeting activities. Have fun with the community. Get to know others that are out there, and interact with people. We're social by nature, for the most part, and these kinds of activities are healthy. You got to get out there. You've got to talk to people, and you learn a lot by just doing that kind of reach out. So, another big thing to kind of consider, as you're starting up is, having some community wearables and having some sort of branding. Again, these are kind of some of the local area communities, featured branding, wear and stuff like that. The tie-dye shirt, that's actually pretty old school. I got that, 5 years ago, and my kids tie-dyed that for me. So, it might be more
like 8 years ago. I don't know.
It might be, but it was just a plain white T-shirt, and I brought it back, and my kids tie-dyed it for me, and it was a great activity for them. And if you get white T-shirts like that, maybe it's something you can build into your own activity, as a networking activity. Tie-dyeing is pretty fun, in my opinion, at least, and you can make some pretty cool things. You know, some of the things that I've seen out and about are like, especially the USB hubs that people need to have with laptops, having limited kind of ports to utilize, and then I put torches on there because I know we have an international audience, but flashlights and stuff like that are always welcome. And oh man, people really do love stickers. I have to say that. So, my cup is filled with them. So
Yep,
it's not just a kids thing.
it's true.
Also, there was a great presentation this year from Pat McGowan, amplifying your events. Go back, reference that recording, and reference the slides in there, because he's got a great framework to start with, especially for promoting your community and kind of getting your presence out there. Like, use what we have, use what we will have in the future. Always come back and reference things to kind of build upon what you're doing to make your community thrive inside of your environment that you're in. Now, we're going to move into kind of the areas where you could be reaching out, doing some additional reach out. We're going to start with, speaking, mentoring, engaging at post-secondary schools. So, colleges, community colleges, schools after people graduate, high school, or, they start late stage career changes. Reach out to these area schools and ask advisors, kind of just local computer science, IT, MIS kind of focused career areas in the college atmosphere, where you can speak, where you can help mentor some of these individuals going through their programs. Create little flyers. Like, I used to see these all the time on campus and this is dating me, it's 20 years ago, honestly, where you'd see those little postings that had tear-offs. Put some QR codes maybe on there so that people can scan and learn about your community. And then, like, maybe create something out of it, like an alternate reality game. Offer some prize that if they get to the end of the puzzle, that they'll get some cool swag if they attend your meeting. You'll definitely probably want to make sure you have those connections within the post-secondary school area, because from what I've seen, you have a governing board approving some of these postings. So, just make sure you do some explorative kind of work, email people, meet people in person and that kind of stuff. But, you're going to reap some of the benefits of having additional places for future events, large places that can accommodate, potentially a lot of people for a community presentation or workshop day. And you're also building those relationships with students who will be emerging into their technology careers in the near future, which, people always need help and they always need a good way to get a foot in the door, So think about that. Also, be thinking about your local community enrichment, education, and engagement. In my area, they have classes that adults can sign up for and get just general education about Microsoft Office products. Copilot, especially, that's been a big one in catalogs that I've seen delivered to our house, about community enrichment and education. And don't be afraid to be an individual putting those classes together, and being an instructor in those classes. You're going to meet great people. You're going to meet potential future attendees for your community events. And, it will help spark new interests that people may not have known they had. This kind of reminds me of Caruana's story about her teaching her mom how to use Copilot. You could be doing stuff like this with elderly people in general, and they could be talking about this to their children or other people within the community. It's a great opportunity to, again, build those relationships and get out there and talk to people. Talk to like your local chambers of commerce. This is definitely one that has come up, I think, pretty recently. Heather mentioned it to me, but it will give you some new avenues again for like places to have your community events, rec centers, schools, or maybe, festivals and stuff like that to further promote your community event. And they can also kind of help you maybe get discounts on those venues that will be hosting these events. So again, it's really all about who you know, and the more you expand into these areas, I think the more opportunities you will get and more benefits you'll see as you kind of put your events out there for people to attend. You're building goodwill towards all in the end. So it's always a good thing to do. Now, I'm going to go into some of the unthought of things that you might want to try to promote your event. The first one I'm going to talk about is chalk art QR codes. My spouse found this recipe. It's like a 2-to-3 ratio of cornstarch. And the key thing here is washable paint. You don't want to use normal paint, but you want to use washable paint. And then water. So what that will do is it will create kind of a fluid that will settle into sidewalks and cracks really well. And the color comes out really, really nicely. As you can see by the I think that's Instagram my wife found it on, honestly, when she saw it. But like it comes out really vibrantly. And you can use this to create these sidewalk QR codes. You might be able to do it on the sidewalk as is using, black colors, or you might have to, lay down a layer of white and then black on top. But you can also use the links that I have in this presentation to figure out how to print, use a 3D printer to create a QR code stencil or template for reuse. And again, this might give you an opportunity to go into the library and your local library and use some of those resources that are available to your community. And, you can network there too, which is great. But, when you do that, I would say make sure to create a prompt or a call of action to scan that QR code. My suggestions, are, again, alternate reality games. And then the secondary one, which we're coming off of Father's Day here in the United States. So dad jokes. And for those of you who might not know what dad jokes are, these are jokes that are really punny and wordplay in nature. And if you want to listen to my example quick, I want to ask, how does Azure stay in shape? So,
How, Tim?
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
It does cloud lifts and data crunches.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, these jokes are sometimes really groaners, and you'll get little laughs out of them, but you'll certainly make someone smile in the end. But put the dad joke out in front of the QR code, and that QR code leads to a page that has the answer, and then kind of specifies what your community does. That kind of a prompt, and you can take these out to like street festivals, art festivals, again, post-secondary campuses, and just any other event that people are kind of walking around, running around. It's a summer activity kind of deal, that you can get out and do this with your family or with other people in your community. It's a great activity just to go out and do. So, on to our next one.
I love that there's a recipe. Like, I've used sidewalk chalk.
Yep.
Sidewalk chalk, if you don't do the full recipe, you can get it literally at the dollar store. So that's another tip too. So if just sidewalk, but that is so cool. I love it, Tim.
And like I said, my kids have tried it out. It works really well. The colors are vibrant.
Yeah.
And they last for quite a bit. I mean, they won't dust away due to wind or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
cool.
And then this is going to be my last suggestion for kind of a activity to try out to promote your community events, is to get together with the individuals of your community, your technology community that you're putting on, and create an alternate reality game or puzzle. So what you can do is, place QR codes in places that are within the event or within the area or within, on a poster board or something like that, on a college campus. Kind of lead people through some clues to find the next one and to get to the end of the puzzle, or, kind of like escape the maze in some ways, or escape an escape room, a virtual escape room in some ways. But you can do this via like a hackathon within the community, to kind of create that chain of puzzles that people can solve and figure out. And you can definitely do it via the Power Apps stack, I feel like, forums and that kind of stuff. But totally something you can work out with the technology of the M365 stack at hand. And again, it's something that you can just kind of reuse as you go along. And as people get to the end of the puzzle, provide that little piece of cheese at the end, a prize, a bit of swag or something like that people can redeem if they come to your community event. So it's really kind of a very creative way to just go out there, do stuff, be outdoors, and kind of interact with people in general. I will say that this last weekend, we saw a cool art installation in our area. Well, it's like actually 4 hours away from us. Thomas Dambo built these trolls out of recycled wood. And what you would do is you would like find the trolls. They had like a necklace on them that you would use to decode and find the golden rabbit in the end. So really encouraged, my family to explore the area and hike out a bit. And the trolls were really cool to look at too. So, that's going to an extreme. That's something probably a community couldn't do, but that's something you could probably model after and kind of use that as an example. So, that's the end of my presentation. And I wanted to have an open mic for questions or for any additional ideas for unique ways to promote your events.
Yeah, Tim, that was awesome. Thank you. Yay. Yeah, folks, you are welcome. That's awesome. So let's take the next, 10 minutes or so and chat about additional ideas. If people want to come off mute, if you want to just put it in chat, let's have a conversation for a moment. So any ideas? Hey, Hal. Welcome. And there's some things in chat. Pete, you shared your swag shop. I'm volunteering you to come back and show people how you did that. Coming up, yeah? Will you do that for an upcoming session? Pretty please? Please? That'd be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, the swag shop is really nice. And I think I looked at the company that Pete used, and I think I don't remember what it was, but the guys from Good Mythical Morning use it. And my kids love that show. Love to watch that show on YouTube. So
yeah. Printful is I like them too. I think they're really. Rui, do you have something for us? No? Okay. All good. Yeah, I was going to say, I think some of the things, we've talked about this and, it was great. Tim reached out to the board and other regional leads asking questions sort of between them, and a lot of cool, things came out of that. But yeah, I do think that there's, I don't have a helper today. So there we go. That's actually got access. There we go. So Sergio can get in. The local things are really, have been really in my brain, just because I think of kind of, where we are right now in the world and everything that's going on and coming out of COVID, the pandemic and stuff. I think there's this really lean in for local community and organizing and getting together and stuff. And so I feel like we do a lot of online digital, promotion. And I think there's some, Pat's great session went through a lot of that, the digital stuff, thinking about, and I've seen some people talk about, LinkedIn groups versus pages. And it seems to me LinkedIn is really one of the main places for business and professional posting. I think that to me is number one right now in the world, as far as people building community, shouting out each other, posting their events, posting blogs, all of that stuff. People have their own blogs, or their events will have their own blogs, or we have these, community platforms and stuff. But LinkedIn seems to me to be the place where people are really putting, you might have an anchor, like Tim was saying, with your event website or, other places. But LinkedIn really seems to be a really, a place that people also trust, so I definitely, that's a really good place for sure for that. But leaning into local is, I think, really important, because I think, digital and online is wonderful for sure. And our platforms are, pretty vibrant. But I do think there is something about, getting together with people and breaking bread and seeing each other in person that's really important. And so I love these tactile, tangible things that we could do to potentially, and it doesn't have to be a giant extravaganza, it could be a bunch of people just going and having some soup, literally, or dipping into the organizations that are already there. People, I do a lot of mentoring, as you all know, maybe you don't know that, but I do. And it's, for me, a lot of it is talking to people, especially about careers, about, what do you want to do with your job or your career, or if somebody's looking for a new job, or if they've lost a job or left a job, it's like, do you want to build your own thing, or do you want to join somebody else's thing and make it better? And so I think there's a lot of times we're like, I'm going to start my own thing, which is awesome, but there's a lot of work that goes into that. So looking for opportunities through Meetup, through the user groups, through other things where you can go help someone else who's already doing it. To me, sometimes that can be easier, so like the Chamber of Commerce and different organizations that exist in your community already that have membership and people. Sometimes it's about just going to the, Venice Art Walk, and you meet a bunch of, business owners who are like, oh my gosh, what? You doing what? Yes, I would love to learn about that. Let's have you come in and talk, or bring your people, or vice versa, So Anyway, just some stuff that I was thinking about. I'll be quiet. So anyone else have anything you want to share? Let's see what we got in the chat. Besides the fact that Tim is awesome and that was a great presentation.
Thank you again.
Yeah. Let's see here. We're using Teespring, not recommended. Yeah. Printful is nice because we can run production at cost, and coupons, storefronts. Interesting. Yeah. I will say, Jennifer, I do remember, Twitter for me, when it was Twitter, was the place I went for community news, everything. I have made a personal choice that I have my account there, but I don't use it anymore. So we have Microsoft has accounts there, which we still leverage for promotion for some things, for sure. But yeah, I'm not there anymore. So Facebook still use, Blue Sky, Instagram, leaning into TikTok because that's super fun. Yep. Tech councils. Yeah, that's a great one. Tech councils are really good for advertising, and your local colleges, universities, community colleges are great places. Plus, they love when people come talk to them. Oh, Paul. Yeah. Leaning into local strategy. Yep. Sidewalk QR codes. Right on. Thanks, George. Yep. I do think, it's one of those things even that, I need to take my own advice. Yeah. I understand. Hey, Paul, and I get it about diversity of minds and all of that. It's personal choice for me. So, but yeah, but I would say use everything, getting the word out and amplifying is getting the word out, to all the broadest places you can. So, it's up to you about what you want to use for social media and stuff. For sure. I also think I probably need to jump over to the subcommittees and other stuff. And so I'm going to wrap up with Tim. Tim, thank you so much. That was super awesome. And I think it sparked a lot of great ideas for sure. And we'll share all of this with everybody. So appreciate you. Thank you, Tim. Let's give Tim a big round of applause, either digitally or jazz hands if you feel like it. Yay. Awesome. Cool.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Tim. That's great. I'm going to take control back of the PowerPoint. What's next? So now we're going to go into the, updates portion of the general meeting by me and then some of our wonderful board members. And so go through the subcommittees. But I did want to address, and this might take a lot of the time that we have left, but I'm going to spend about 5 minutes here and then I'm going to go into subcommittees. So a lot of you have been wondering about the community tenant. For those of you who don't know what that is, the community tenant is a place where we run the MGCI, where user group leaders and event producers have teams, Microsoft Teams, on that tenant to help run their events and have their organizing bodies hang out and talk to each other and all of that. So we had gotten word earlier this year that the community tenant, because of our secure initiative that Microsoft has put out regarding security, privacy, trust, all of that, that MSIT was going to have us close down the community tenant. And so we've been waiting to get final word on that. And so the word is the community tenant is not closing down, which is great news. However, there are going to be some changes that they've asked us to make. And so we are going to be sharing this with you here in the general session. And then there's email comms that are going to be going out in the community organizers teams that is on the tenant and out publicly as well. Those are being finalized. I believe those are going to be sent this week because we had said June 30th was the date on that, but that is not the case anymore, which is great. So the Secure Future Initiative that is from Microsoft IT, they have told us that the one major change that we have for the community tenant is that all guest accounts will have to be removed in this coming Q3 of this year. So meaning from kind of now until the end of September, October, we'll have to remove guest accounts. And you're like, what does that mean? So let me explain. So in the tenant, anybody who is a owner of a user group or an event producer or who actually owns a team or is involved with the organization of a team, all of those folks, you will be able to keep your teams. However, to access, you will be asked to access via a credential that would be like mine is heather.cook@msftcommunity.com. So you won't be able to use your Hotmail, your Gmail, your, all of those different kinds of emails. You have to get to it through using the credential that you either already have already or will need to be given. And so there will be instructions given out for everyone on how to do that. So basically, the only folks that are going to be allowed in the community tenant would be either an owner of a user group, an owner of an event, or a producer, and then say your 5 people that work on, say, Community Days LA with me would be able to be in there. Anybody who's a guest or just a member, we can't have in there anymore. We're going to move the membership of MGCI and the rest of other folks that have been in there to the Microsoft Tech community, to our new community hub over there. So that's the big change. Teams by default, and Microsoft Teams in the tenant by default we'll have allowed up to 10 owners. That's up from 5, but then we'll expand to 25 by request. And then anonymous sharing links from the community teams will remain available for a new maximum of a 90-day lifetime. So those are the specific changes. So members or guests, we're going to have people move over to the tech community. If you want to join there, that's where we're going to be posting more blogs, more of these events, more of like AMAs, all that sort of thing. And so that's the board members and our regional leaders, event producers that wish to stay in the community tenant will be able. And if you don't have an msftcommunity.com email address, there again will be instructions on how to do that and go through it. So, and then any of our long-lived public documents are going to be hosted on adoption.microsoft.com in our MGCI section or others. So that's the big news about community tenant. If there are any questions about that, and those of you who are in the tenant, you can feel free to put them in there. Brian Hart and Josh Leparati on my team are working on that. Brian Hart, as you know, is one of the architects behind the community tenant, and so we'll be working through all of that stuff, and Josh works on it as well, and me. So more to come on this, but that I know has been top of mind for many of you, so thank you for your patience while we worked through that. There's been a lot of changes, as you can imagine, that pertain to cybersecurity and other things through our SFI initiative that we as Microsoft employees have had to implement, and so many changes to how we do our work as well. And Brian Hart, I say give him he's just a big shout out because he's been handling all of that for us. Anywho, so good news all around, which is great. So with that, and if there's questions in the chat, please let me know. All goodness, and I'll keep answering those, but I am going to head into our subcommittees, headed up by our board members. And so we are going to start off with communications workstream update. I know I saw Jennifer on. Jennifer, you want to give an update about communications?
Yep. Our newsletter just went out. We're going to start posting that at the beginning or end of the month, one of the two, I think at the beginning of the month. Yeah, beginning of the month. So we can make sure the sessions are added to them. So we just switched over. We're going to be still sending out the email and then posting it to the tech community. And let's see, we had, sent over 1,000 of them last month, 38.4% open and a 3.9% click rate. So I think that's trending on the typical way that it trends. So I think those are our updates. And sorry, I have a cold, so I sound a little sniffly.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I feel better for sure. Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, we were sending it at the end of the month, and I wanted to make sure the general session and then the event training coming up get in there. So we're moving it, and it literally just went out a couple of days ago. So not bad for the open rate and all of that for just getting open. So that is a good thing. Cool. All right. Next up, sponsors and sponsorship. The sponsors and sponsorship subcommittee, they are talking about how to help the community and help folks get sponsors and help write up sponsorship, content and communications and all of that stuff. The next meeting is July 11th. If you're interested in that subcommittee, give a shout out in the chat. Let us know if you would like to attend that. This is for folks who are going to work on this and work on the subcommittee itself. One of the things I know that they're doing is they're doing some interviews with typical Microsoft partners who sponsor events. And so they're doing some interviews. I'm working on getting them some as well, just to see, what do you want? What is a sponsor looking for from an event producer? And so getting it right from the direct from the mouths of the sponsors. And then this crew is going to bring this back to everybody and to share that as well. So that's going to be great coming up. And let's see. And then I can turn it over to Tom Daly. Tom Daly, how are you?
Good. Thanks for
awesome.
Me. We have updates on community days. So we're doing great, but we have can you go to the next slide? Yeah. Thank you to all of our volunteers. All the feedback's really helpful. We have people that have really getting involved now. So we have people QAing our site, checking our site. Giving me, there's defects, I'm fixing them. Lots of good volunteers. We have Mike doing the approvals, which we're expanding that team. So we're going to have more people vetting out the events and checking various things and doing approvals so they get done in a timely manner, and that we're kind of have a small little board so it's consistent. So we have a process that we go through for that. And next slide. I know we only have a few minutes, keeping it quick. Right. Event approvals, that's what I just mentioned. So if you're interested, you can sign up for you can sign up here. We have added a couple new questions. So we're looking for people to help curate content. Again, more eyes on the site, like suggestions, finding defects. And also, like I said, we're going to be bumping up the reviewer, building a small committee, just people to just bounce ideas off. We should have this. Should we have more of this? Like kind of guiding and, growing what we're looking for and how we're approving events. All right, next one. So this is going to be the first time I've said we're doing nothing, but we're actually all done rolling stuff out. We were preparing for this migration, right? Okay. And now the migration is no longer happening. But in the meantime, while we were preparing for the migration, we were working on a Cosmos upgrade. So we're upgrading our database from Azure Table Storage to Cosmos DB. It's a big deal for us. There's a lot of things that have to change. So we've been working on that for about a month or two. We're getting close to the end now. We're just wrapping up a few more things. So that should be done by the end of the month, I'm hoping, and we can get back to business because we have some nice things that have to get out, like the subscriptions and notifications. That's out there. It's just not active. So that will be following closely after the Cosmos upgrade. And yep, so that's up next, site migration, tech tools. We're not doing that anymore. That we could have removed that, and no more happy times.
Awesome. So folks who are new to this, so Tom, where are you from? Where do you live?
I am in New Jersey, so I'm on, near the coast, Jersey Shore area.
Yeah. And what's coming up in July for you?
Oh, yes. In July, we are doing M365 Community Days, New York City. So July 25th in New York, Times Square. We literally, I'm wearing the shirt. We just got done with
Nice.
It's the New York Community AI Conference. That was last month. So this is our, we're getting closer to the date. Registration's still open. We just announced the speakers, the schedule's out. So like we're fully ready to go. We have a lot of great sponsors that have stepped up and we're ready to, put the food orders in and get everything processed. So come join us if you're listening. Microsoft Times Square, it's a fantastic office. It's right across from Port Authority. It's 2 floors. We'll have the whole office. It's going to be a great day of learning.
That's awesome. That's gorgeous. Yeah. And all of you, so communitydays.org is your one-stop shop for community events for Microsoft. And Tom has headed this up since it was his idea. So it's heading this up since it started. And just a big thank you again to everybody who is leaning in, volunteering time to help make this site better and better, and just all the beautiful ideas everybody's brought to the table about this site, about what we could do with this. And this is for events that are longer than 4 hours. We're not supporting user groups at this time. We are supporting larger, like regional user group meetings that are bigger and longer, that sort of thing. But this is for free events, 1-day free events like communitydays.org or collabdays.org. Lisbon, and also for paid events, so conferences that you're looking for. Just had a chit chat with the Agent Con folks, so they're putting their stuff in here as well. So just thank you again for Tom and everybody's work on the back end for this, and those who are also approving Community Days events as they come in. So lots of good stuff around here, and just thank you everybody for making this. It's really become the place people look for these items, and it's just great. Calls for sponsors, calls for speakers, community calls, all of the events in our ecosystem. So if you have something, please, it's free, and there's great, you can leverage that sponsorship, and you've all just done such a great job. So just woohoo! So thank you, Tom. Thank you, everybody. Good stuff. Right on. Okay, cool. Let's go into regional leads workstream updates. So when's our next one? Tom Daly, since you're there, and Rodolfo. Let's see.
Okay, so the next one, it's not scheduled right now. I have to do a little adjustment for my summertime schedule because I am,
Okay.
So we're in the process. We're going to be scheduling a new one for the next coming month.
Sounds great. Marvelous. Cool. All right. So this is the regional leads workstream update, talking to regional leads about next steps on things to do. So good stuff. How about Wes? I think I saw you on here, although you're doing, I think,
peeking in with one eye.
Perfect. Hi.
So, our next event is going to be talking about speaker and session selection. So again, it's going to be kind of a panel, just kind of open discussion that we're going to lead with a bunch of different topics and thoughts that Sharon and I already kind of brainstormed a whole bunch of stuff. So we've got a slide deck of things that we can walk through, but it's anything and everything that you might think of or want to talk about when it comes to speaker and session selection. So we'll be talking about that while a lot of us are out in Seattle for TechCon, but I think we'll be able to get a good crowd. If that's something that you're passionate about, if that's something where you're part of your org's, session selection and building your calendar, building your schedule of events, be sure to chime in for that. And if you want to talk to us beforehand to kind of plan for it, let me know. That's what we'll be talking about next.
Awesome. Yep. And I just put the link to the MTC listing as well. So that is there in the chat. So bookmark that page for coming up June 26th next week. Yeah, we'll be doing it live from TechCon Seattle. So that'll be fun.
Yep.
So we'll have to find a place to do that. So that'll be great. Right on. Cool. Thank you, Wes. That's great. And let's see here. Let's see. Coming up, general sessions. Say we'll be coming up with thriving against the odds, building a formidable community and unfavorable environments. coming up here in July 15th. And then, as you can see, we've got openings, friends and neighbors. So, I know as Pete, I was like, hey, maybe come talk about that Printful. But September, October, November, we have general session openings for folks if you want to come and be a speaker. It's a great opportunity to share something about community, about events, event producing, best practices, things that are important to you that you know a lot about. So please come sign up and be a speaker. Love it for sure. So that would be great. And then I think that leads us into the end of MGCI Community Hub. That's where we're at on the community, and we've got lots of conversations happening over there. So I think for me, I just wanted to say again, thank you for the wonderful presentation. I'm going to put this up. Love your feedback on if you like these, if you want more of these. We do read them. I do send them up to the management and let them know that we should keep doing this stuff. So any of that is great, y'all. Tim, thank you again. Another big round of applause. We'll see you back here at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate you and excited to continue to talk about event production and our beautiful communities. So be careful, be safe out there, everybody. Have a great rest of your week, and maybe see some of you later today. And if not, soon. Event training next week on Thursday. All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye.